Oh, I didn't see Rambo's message.
At the hospital.
Will you still cry? Will your eyes still be wet if it's cut?
Yeah, his wife's giving birth, right?
Yep. Or at least if she was induced yesterday.
That's what their second kid.
Yep.
And we are all good to go.
Excellent, excellent. But yes, if you can find a good voice modulator, if we can find a decent one, I will use it for next campaign because I am not a voice actor. I forget half the voices I use when time goes on. Other than like a few key like Jumba and his papa, but yeah. All right, somebody do the recap. We will start this bad boy up. Also, if shit hits the fan, everybody point at Josh and blame him.
What'd you do?
Secret. At least until some time in the Game Pass.
Do you know the
All right.
We haven't actually done the role playing for that, so that actually hasn't happened.
Well, it'll happen in the session if it comes to it. All right. Somebody do a recap. Let's go. Let's go.
No.
I don't remember what happened last session. I think we're just a
All
lot of
right.
exploring.
Quick recap. A whole lot of exploring. That's pretty much what happened. Items were found. Few places. That was pretty much it.
Bunch of sunken shafts. What was it?
About the only major thing that really happened was the lodestone find.
Yeah, the various lodestones. You found two of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was destroyed.
2 lodestones.
And the quote unquote
yeah.
cute baby aberration.
And then, of course, the eggs.
And I found my original notes on the portal that led to the fire plane from the lodestone of fire. And I don't know where I was getting the god beast of fire, but it was the Ifrit Lord, the ruler of the fire plane. I was thinking God Beast of Fire because of the pups. All right, so that was pretty much it. What hex did we leave off on? I think it was the one with Palor's sword.
B25. US.
Sorry, yes, it was B25. Palor sword. We just gotten done trading with a bunch of, or one square back. We just got done trading with Drake again, and then Palor sword. Second quest was issued.
Yep. All right, so what do y'all do? As of right now, your total exploration is going to take 8 days. Oh, I can't wait till the reboot, so I don't have to keep track of the convoluted fucking time. And neither does Josh. Let's be realistic. Josh doesn't have to keep track of it. The convoluted time. I tried it. Some games do it, and while neat in concept, is so annoying to actually.
Half the time I have to go back and re-edit to how much time,
Yeah.
a month is, because they're like, oh, it was, I just forget.
Mm-hmm.
So A24 on
Excellent.
A24 is a giant scale that has deep cut marks. No living creature will enter the hex.
All right. So as you explore this hex, you make your way to where it is, and it is a massive serpent scale. From its sheer size, you can assume it is from the god beasts of water. The gash marks in it, while severe, they're small in comparisons to its general size. You can take an educated guess, and because you do know Vigar battled the god beast of water, that's why it was so grievously injured. This looks to be one of the scales from that conflict.
All right.
Well, it is literally massive. Its scale you can probably have 100 people stand on it.
So it's going into a bag.
No, this will be a dimensional storage
Yeah.
issue.
Would you like for me to store it till later?
I have an idea. It may be something interesting. We could try feeding this scale to our various Leviathan pets when they hatch.
Okay.
That would probably enhance their ability to their magical capabilities. They have a much deeper connection with water, and it would serve as excellent training materials.
I'm gonna say now that I'm not going to even attempt to try harvesting this because I may die.
I am totally on board with that.
So
So
her not harvesting or her dying? I mean,
her not harvesting, because
Okay.
we know how that goes.
Yes. Feel like distinctions needed to be made there.
So again, Dan, would you like to dimension keep it for a bit, or would you like for me to?
Sure, I can dimension keep it for a bit. I have a few options.
Mm-hmm.
I store it in my hoard, Derek.
Okay. What other major magical items do you have in your hoard right now?
Mother of Monster's crown, Mother of Monster's bow. Sorry, I have to pull up my character sheet. Screw you, all you tabs. A bunch of liquid mana. Longsword / longbow of Mother Monsters. Other than that, that's this, and then
Okay.
Syndrix Atlas.
Okay. Need to know for reasons. All right, where to next?
Oh, if shit gets stolen out of there, I'm gonna be pissed.
The world may never know.
But I will because it's my hoard.
All right, where to next?
Sorry, I'm writing down the scale so I remember that I have it.
And it is, again, truly massive.
B21. Just says cave.
I gotta open up my notes for that one.
You know that someone looked at, someone looked at in my class? We had a tree, and it was yellow. Yellow.
It appears to be nothing more than an empty cave. Underwater, there is the cave itself does have an air pocket, so those that do manage to swim down there have a place of reprieve. This is one of those areas that, depending on certain interactions and whatnot, would have become a quest destination or quest area.
Got it. B19 is another scale.
Sweet. Same properties.
Get store it again,
Okay.
or did someone else want to store it in?
I want to store this one, Charlie.
Sure. Stored in my domain.
What magical things do you have in your domain?
The lodestone of we did that water and death lodestone, and I guess technically the half transparent Abaddon. That's about it.
All right.
Okay. Did you want a list of magic items, or did you want a list of just artifacts? So all this for you was artifacts.
Major magical items, artifact quality, or unique, powerful magical items.
Got it.
Something with, intrinsic magical property beyond a, flaming longsword or a +1 suit of armor.
Got it. I'm going to make it known right now. I'm going to put the dagger back in my hoard.
Okay.
So it's not on my person right now.
Okay.
That's probably for the best.
Well, I mean, we've used it for the last 3 combat sessions. I've been keeping it for a reason.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm starting to feel nervous with that out in the open.
When you just walking along with it.
Well, you have to remember, the other reason I keep it out, or have been keeping it out, is because of the plethora, before we started this exploration, the plethora of, combat situations we'd be under. It also takes, what was it, Derek, 3 turns to open up our hoard?
Yes. In combat.
In combat, 3 turns, requiring all 3 actions.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a reason, I mean, if all of a sudden combat is upon us, it's not going to be easy to get to.
Yeah.
All right. Where to next?
Ruined Dwarven Capital. Learn War Domain Ritual.
All right. So that doesn't have a whole lot of implications anymore since we got rid of, or we forgoed kingdom building
Got
as
it.
a whole. That would have been a ritual. You know how like Vorgoth could travel with supernatural speed in his domain when he was enemy, and they had enhanced protections and shit like that. Would have done that, but it's pointless because we gave up the.
Okay, but what might not be pointless is, do we actually have that ritual now? Like, is
Yes,
it on
we
a
have that
scroll, or because it
It's-
might be tradable to another location?
It is tradable. It is a tome that has the ritual in it. It is a level 12 ritual. Sorry, it's a level 8 ritual because rituals go from 1 to 10. I was thinking player level there for a second.
No.
Is someone gonna take that, or am I putting it in the loot?
I was going to take it.
All right.
It is
There's also just make note because I know Rambo, he wants to explore runes and whatnot. There's a plethora of knowledge that can be learned here if you want to delve into early dwarven history. The curse of curse of flesh. Um, there's still some working smithies and things like that. I mean, it's submerged in the water, so you couldn't really use them, but they're still in pristine condition. If you could harvest it all together, you could harvest, like sending people to reclaim the goods and whatnot, you could get 22 build points.
good to know.
Mhm.
All right, where to next?
E18. And that would be Old Elven Lighthouse.
All right. As you explore this, there's just a small island that still remains on a white marbled lighthouse that goes up several hundred feet. The magic in it is still active and very potent. Always casting a light out to guide ships away from the various hazards. In this region, especially since you're up on the lighthouse, you can see like reefs, barrier reefs, and the like, and the various hazards of sailing through this portion of the ocean.
Okay.
In the center of it, or at the top in the center of the room, where the light shines out, it can be used as a scrying fold. So if you cast a scrying spell using this, your roll is treated as 1 degree better.
Okay.
So what that would do, like this was again back in the Building Kingdom aspect of it, is if you actually had claim of this hex, it would provide safe passage along the western coast, all the way up to C15 and down to C22.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Where
New
to next?
location. H18, floating island, where 13 Wyvern Slayers are.
All right. So the Wyvern have long abandoned this since certain events in the game that's transpired from the apocalyptic fight between one of the demon princes and the Scarlet Emperor. Also the champion of famine using various beast calls and whatnot. There are a total of 18 eggs. Out of those 18 eggs, 7 remain, still clinging on to life. Be hatched.
1, 2, 3. I was expecting a mine. So now I go here.
Well, I mean, I would like one, but I wasn't gonna, elbow my way through everybody to get to them.
There has to be only one Dan for her to go mine. That's the whole scenario,
Don't tell
right?
them my secrets.
So
Don't
there's
already.
still 7 fertile Wyvern eggs. Though within a few weeks' time, they will too perish as well, if not, handled with care and nurtured to hatching, growing.
Yeah, they honestly go best with you, Araxis.
I mean,
You have the
really.
ability to care for them. Your place will actually care for them. Ours will just, I mean, unless we're actively hire someone to bring them in to take care of them, which we don't really have available right at this second.
Technically, the AIA would be able to do something, but
By all means, if you want to store some.
I have a bunch of people there right now reconstructing this thing.
See
All right.
previous statement.
Right, I do agree. Axis's place would give them the best chance.
So you take the 7 leopard eggs and transport them to your training grounds.
Yep.
Are my training grounds in my little pocket dimension?
Yes.
Yes.
And how do pocket dimensions work? Like, do I think it and like things materialize, or do I have to like?
You put your
sit-
hand on them and kind of focus on what item you want to transfer in there. The only restrictions are it can't be attached to something else, so it has to be an item that's physically lying there. Hence why we could transport the scales, because they're not technically attached to anything.
What about like molding the landscape within my pocket dimension?
It's basically up to your own will. And it depends on what your place is like meant to do. For instance, for my treasury, for my hoard, like pedestals will naturally appear to hold items of great worth and power, where gold is just kind of in giant piles.
Why are you basically not a red dragon? Like
Because I'm a blue dragon.
because
Whereas, like for instance, my Melora's garden that basically cultivates things in their most appropriate habitat. So when I planted those crystal trees, the area actually responds and created an ideal growing place for those crystal trees. If I were to plant something that is more, let's say, of a necrotic nature or a darker nature, a swampland or some other appropriate low landscape would form for that particular need. So it's kind of up to your imagination, but at the same time, it's within reason and within need.
Yeah, within the
Think
thing
of
too.
the room of requirement from Harry Potter.
All right. So next area. 7.
K19. Earth Bridge over the river.
All right, K19. All right, so this is a natural forming earth bridge. The sheer energies, the magical energies that cascade through this island, and the ley lines, and the prisoner have infused it, and the entire bridge itself is a massive elemental lodestone that connects to the plane of Earth. It theoretically can be both ways, but it takes somebody of significant power to control the transition, being legendary in one of the spellcasting tradition, or legendary in one of the spellcasting skills, to be able to attempt to bridge the two.
Huh.
I think me and Nair are both legendary at this point.
Yeah.
Correction. I am. Yeah, I'm legendary. I'm in 2 separate schools.
I mean, yeah, I got occultism, and I don't think religion isn't a spellcasting.
Yeah, it is.
It is? Okay. Then I got legendary.
Religion,
too.
occult, nature, and arcane are the 4 spellcasting traits.
Okay.
Or skills. One thing to note, like the magical essence and the presence you get here is a feeling of safety, of community, of commerce, and the like. Unlike the water lodestone, which is more chaotic and, what was going through, the fire lodestone being attached to the domain of the Fire Lord, or the Ifrit Lord. This, like I said, has a presence of protection, safety, commerce, community.
Fascinating.
Huh. I asked Solon if he wants to see what's actually on the other side.
I kind of do.
Let's fucking do it.
We're gonna see
All
what's
right.
on the other side.
Give me a appropriate skill check that you are a legendary in. Doesn't matter what skill, so long as it's one of the spell casting skills and it is legendary rank.
I was gonna say help, but I think the 34 might do it. I can still try and help.
So you do get it open. You can tell that there is definitely some strain there, and for future reference, because this isn't danger or anything like that, the DC is 30 to activate this portal using this lodestone.
Mm-hmm.
A ripple in the air forms. You see the stone of the bridge kind of pulsate with the various reflections of precious gems and jewels, and a doorway is opened. As you step through, you're in a massive cavern, hollowed. There is artificial light sources coming from what you can only assume to be the ceiling, as you know that the plane of elemental earth is just that earth. There are pockets, there are tunnels, there are caverns, there's kind of hollow earth things going on, and there, in some places have artificial light to kind of reflect daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Here, when you step through, a couple people notice you, nod, and just go about their day. You're in a grand, or at least this portion of what looks to be a metropolis, a bazaar. You have entities of all different kinds of ancestries, from celestial fiends. You see some hags, you see humans, you see elves, you see the wide range of entities that make up the multiverse. As you do look around, you do see some heavy armored and very intimidating looking guards. They don't seem to be, reacting horribly to your presence. You can tell they take note of it, but they are sentries and guards to make sure everything stays in a collective, orderly manner. What do y'all do?
Anybody have anything they want to buy?
Could you describe the place again?
It is a large metropolis. Where you find yourself at right now looks to be a bazaar. It's a commerce, thoroughfare goes through it. There's shops, there's, people going about conducting business, buying, selling, so forth and so on. You got street hawkers, you got all different kinds of things. The buildings themselves are made of the finest stone material. And they run the spectrum of color of stone. You got some beautiful white marble, you got some dark obsidian, you got ruby red buildings and whatnot. And while
it's kind of chaotic in the sense where, you know, they don't inherently naturally contrast together. For some reason here it all blends just beautifully together.
City of Rainbows.
Pretty much.
Huh.
And to put it into perspective, you can buy anything here up to level 20. Future or higher level items can be acquired with appropriate rolls and willing and dealing.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
Since this is the elemental plane of Earth, how cheap are gemstones compared to their corresponding material plane worth?
Relatively cheap. So you get the idea as you're looking around, right? You see some dirt cheap, like flawless diamonds that they're selling dirt cheap. You know, whatever it would be in the core or in the DM guide or the core rule book, you know, you're only paying about 25% of it. And then you look at their high value stuff, which make those flawless diamonds that you would find on the material plane look like a novice's hand at crafting jewelry. Because you get the idea, like the flawless diamonds and, you know, the things that we on the material plane would look like, oh, this is spectacular and whatnot. Yeah, they look at it as crude. They're not finally, you know, perfected. They haven't had as much time to age, if you will.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to like buy an absolute insane amount of sapphires and layer the lake that the Leviathan lake is with him, just like you would on a fishbowl.
That's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
I think. Well, you have to remember two things. One, I grabbed the most mystically powerful egg out of the Leviathan eggs. On top of that,
Bless you.
I intend to feed this Leviathan with not just the scale of, or some scale of the God Beast of Water. This is when the God Beast of Water was at its most powerful. So it's an empowered scale. It still had all four seals active at that time. Right now, the God Beast of Water is about half its size and half its power as what it was when it shed these. So feasibly, I could see those sapphires becoming infused with magic over time. And that's why I was thinking about it.
See, all I'm hearing is what you should do is get those sapphires so that way your little Leviathan has some pretty shiny rocks to play around in. Keep it happy.
Tomato, tomato.
He's truly building a fish tank complete with the rocks on the bottom.
Exactly. It just so happens that those rocks are going to be incredibly valuable in a certain amount of time.
So, Dan, are you gonna, have the, little treasure chest in the bottom? Just look.
Yeah, I should have kept the baby mimic.
Oh,
Wasn't thinking.
that's hilarious.
I'm slowly like going through like the actual compendium of items to see if there's anything that I would want.
I'm not gonna lie. I think we should get this arch moved to Draconia.
Get it moved to Draconia and open it up both ways.
It would be an amazing thoroughfare or trade source. And hell, you know how much metal we go through in Draconia. I say to Gavin.
Yeah.
Armoring a single dragon nearly bankrupts us every time we do it. access to cheap, high-grade metals?
Now, this is the plane, elemental plane of Earth. All minerals, metals and ores and gems and whatnot can be found here.
How did we get here? Like walking through a portal?
There's a bridge that basically has access on it. If you have a strong enough magical capabilities, you can use it to open up a doorway to, I'm going to call it the City of Rainbows.
That's fine with me.
Just because I imagine the light sources going through these gem buildings that you were describing before would literally be projecting rainbows everywhere.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the ways that it keeps actually lit. And
I'm kind of picturing the one safe area in the one dungeon. In the, is it wrong to pick out girls in a dungeon? Seriously.
Yeah.
Fair. But truthfully, I was thinking, moving that, it's not doing anybody any good here.
So
Yeah.
my idea
Do you-
of constructing a temple here wouldn't be the greatest. That if you're going to move this,
I'm sorry, I missed half of what you said, Josh. What?
I'm looking for a place to construct a temple for in Shama. And I was thinking almost here on K19, but I guess if you're going to move it,
Is she a earth goddess?
no. But she's a goddess of protection, and there was a strong feeling of protection, so I kind of legged it as soon as I heard that.
I'll help you keep an ear out for potential options. I just meant in general it would make for a good economic source for back home.
I don't disagree.
I say we contact Xandric, and because he's the master of movement.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess first things first. Anybody gonna buy anything?
I may, but I'm looking at like items.
if you're
and stuff.
missing Apex items, this is a good place to buy.
I can claim
Apex.
Apex items for my companions, but I don't think I have enough gold to buy them.
You'd have to look at the price. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm betting they're more than like 11,000 gold. So
Oh yeah. That
I
they
haven't
are
been taking a lot of money because we haven't had a place to actually use gold. So
fair. Though to be fair, you also have access to a rare metal source too, Syraxi Steel.
I don't have a whole lot of that on me.
I do. I have a lot of it.
But you have the star metal, I thought, not the steel itself.
Okay, I have the star metal.
Because the steel is just a mixture of the star metal and iron to make a higher grade steel.
How much of that ended up coming through, Derek? Because we never had an exact amount.
I
'Cause
would have
ended
to
up,
find
like,
it in my
filling up an
notes.
entire-
I keep thinking it was like 1,000 bulk
I think it was
Yeah.
around 1,000 bulk because it filled up the
So-
entire.
times 100,
Yep.
100,000 bulk of star metal.
Yep.
A lot of star metal.
I'm going to write it down now so that way I have it written down.
I'd assume you still have like 100 or like 90 something of the intelligence ones, Apex items.
Do.
So I could use one of those for my brother. I don't know what I would use for Eve or Zivit.
You can have one of them. Okay, Derek,
Jeez.
I want to trade. The. I have to look real quick which ones I had. I have the. I would like to trade 50 of the Apex intelligence items.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check. And this is going to eat up about 2 hours of time, actually, searching around for either selling it to multiple, selling them to multiple vendors or finding one who will buy in bulk of that item. And it will also dictate how much you will get for sell.
I'll go ahead and token it because token.
All right, what did you get before? Okay, there we go. 17. Okay. It takes about 2 hours, and you go through, a handful of vendors to sell all 50. You get, you sell it for 50% of its value like normally, or you can trade it in for store credit for 75% of its total value.
Okay. I'm going to do that sapphire thing, but I'm just going to use the 50. What because Apex items I have to
Yeah.
put the real quick, but I'm. Let me see. It's headband of intellect, I believe.
Item worth 15,000 gold pieces normally.
1,000. Okay. Calculators. So I'm going to get 562,500 gold worth of sapphires to line the bottom of my
Nice.
fish tank.
Okay.
And how cheap are gemstones approximately comparatively?
Give me 1 second. I'll give you an idea. Do, 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 do. You were doing what? Sapphire?
Correct.
Let's see. What quality are you going for?
What
For them,
material?
it would be 500 gold, and for a greater precious, um, you know, star sapphire. Uh, but you're only going to pay 25% of that.
Sold.
All right.
It's 125 gold.
Yep, 125 gold per star sapphire. That is the greatest quality of what they consider lesser gems that, migrate to the material plane.
So I dumped 4,500 star sapphires into my lake.
Nice. Nice. It fills it up quite well. All right. Anything else anybody wants to do?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I doubt I'll find anything like it here, but I want to look around for any kind of artifact of war or pestilence or famine or something. The thing for Drake.
Got you. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check. And it's going to take you about 2 hours. You would have been doing this while he was trying to sell an obscene amount of Apex items. Does that stand? Takes you roughly 4 hours. So when Solon gets back, you're wondering about. You do hear talking with the various different people. They point you to the Emerald Palace, with the where the elemental lord of Earth resides. Possibly, he would have such treasures. That's the best clue you can get. For the elemental lord keeps such magnificent treasures for himself, especially if they're extremely dangerous.
And during those 4 hours, that's the only information I've got. I actually haven't gone there yet.
Right. And it's not even a guarantee that they do, but it is.
I take it like with my spirit sight and stuff like that. Everyone around here is real. So
Yeah, everybody's real. There are some undead. There are, some constructs and.
yeah. What about the guards? Are they constructs or?
No, they are elementals of Earth.
Okay.
They are sentient elementals.
We have no knowledge of Damon's interfering with other elemental planes.
They have started invading other planes. You don't know exactly which ones, but you do know that they have begun to invade other planes. It is literally just a material plane they can't whole-scale assault.
Yeah.
2 of their forces can now, though.
Fortunately, those 2 whole forces are also held up under.
Yep, until the transition of new horsemen, which takes time. That's why y'all got 3 months of downtime.
Fuck it. I don't know. I can't come up with a item that I want as of right now, I would offer to try to introduce myself to the elemental lord in this plane.
Okay. Do you go with the group or by yourself?
Are I guess that depends on if people are just shopping in here or actually want to go talk to them. If no, people are just doing shopping and stuff, then I'll go talk to them by myself.
Well, Drake is Solon is going to be busy for the next 2 hours because he's trying to sell items.
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell them what you're trying to do?
I
Yes.
would have gone back to the group also and let them know what I found out and that I want to go.
Well, that's for where I'm putting in chronological order at the moment. Would you have told Chucky, Dan, or Solon and Gavin what you were going to do?
That I would have gone looking for an item, and I probably would have shown back up late, and whoever is still around, I'd let them know.
Well, no. I need to know, before you left, did you tell them that's what you're going to do? Because that's taking you 4 hours. So when you come
Yeah,
back...
I would have let them know before I left.
So, that's what she's trying to do. Solon is selling, willing and dealing. So it's really up to you. If Chucky's still with you, would you still be with him, Chucky?
I would actually be looking for some really good stones for constructing a temple.
Okay.
Start getting those resources together, I guess.
Okay.
So if Raxus is going to go to the Lord, I'd go with her, but I'd let her do her thing first and stuff. Then I would talk to the Lord myself.
So
Okay,
as I'm going along, because eventually me and Chucky are going to run into each other, because once you start buying wholesale resources, that's where I'd be going to the same place as he is.
Yes.
I did mention that I'd be willing to provide the star metal you need for constructing your temple.
As you are talking to him about this, you see this very kind of oddly proportioned earth elemental vendor. Like his left shoulder is like the size of a man, while his right shoulder is about the size of Solon's, torso. It's very much a rock elemental, not symmetrical in any way. And he sniffs the air. And he looks, and I'm just checking my notes here for clarification. Do any of you all, last I had on my notes, you all did have pale stone on you.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's in the vault right now with my brother, so I don't have it on me.
He sniffs the air, it sniffs the air, and its attention falls heavily on you, Soul. Not in a menacing way or anything like that, but this entity, this elemental, definitely has an aura about him. There are small indentions where eyes would be, but again, he is just solid stone. So they're just kind of concaved.
I have 100 bulk of pale stone.
You have something I've never tasted before. A stone. Magic properties. May I inquire what it is you have?
Look, I'm just looking to see what all stones I have on here, just because technically I have crystals from Sarenrae's pool, which could count.
By the way, Derek, something minor that might, well, not necessarily minor, but he would be keeping an eye out, but I don't think you'd find it here. That'd be, uh, uh, dying star, birthing star cores.
Okay. You can
I
give
don't
me a
think you'd find it.
diplomacy check on that.
I don't think you'll find it here, but, you know.
Okay, so what I do is I pull out the 3 things I think it could be. I pull out a light bulk of star metal, one of the Melora's crystals, and a pale stone.
You know, he sniffs the star metal. No, not it. The crystal, touched by divine. That, and he points his large finger, that's about the size of your skull, to the pale stone. How much?
So thinking about it, how much are you looking for?
As much you're willing to part.
And 50 bulk worth I'm willing to part with. Making an offer. It's a unique magic item, or a magic material.
He reaches behind his stall and he grabs a chest and sits it in front of you. The chest is 1 foot by foot by half foot. The wood is very finely crafted from a species that you've never seen before. You guess that either it's a very rare species of tree or type of tree on your world, or it's a different world altogether on the material plane. Gems, just finely, like this chest alone, you can probably gauge from its craftsmanship would be about 10 grand.
Okay, I look inside the chest. I'm assuming that's what his gesture is indicating.
Yes. As you look inside the chest, there is this kind of quintessence, ethereal energy. Malleable. Will forms it to desire. What you would call a king's ransom. Basically the equivalent of this special resource, equivalent to 500,000.
Okay, so I'm confused. What is it?
It is basically the quintessence of the building block of matter. With force of will, you can turn it into a matter that you desire. No matter how, now the DC is higher for more rare resources and whatnot, but any resource that you are knowledgeable of or have knowledge that exists, you can attempt to form into that at any level of bulk. That is the equivalent up to 500,000 gold worth.
Deal. I pass over the 50 pale stone. Bulk.
He holds it in his massive hand. Pleasure.
Likewise.
And he goes back to his stall. You see him rub just this magnificent, almost like a ruby. It's weird because it has the red, look of a ruby, but when he rubs it, you see the four elements inside, like in a chaotic dance. And then it stops.
Damn.
And he goes back to doing what he's doing.
On a special note of this particular stall to come back to in the future.
You get the idea, this is one of the big wigs of the trade industry within the City of Rainbows.
Unique mineralogical resources. I know where to go to. Okay.
All right, so after that, Chucky tells you he is going to, or do you let him know what you're doing because you all, gathered together?
Are you talking about me letting him know?
Yeah.
I'd
For
let him know.
simplicity's sake, y'all would have met back up buying, large quantity of resources, wholesale kind of thing.
What?
Alright.
Do you follow him? Yeah, Solon.
Follow who? I thought Chucky was done shopping.
Chucky is going to try to find either the heart of a birthing star or the heart of a dying star.
The other two already went to go and see the Lord, or?
Mhm.
Well, she's asking questions, and Gavin followed her.
Okay, because it only took us 2 hours to do our original shopping. There's 2 hours left before those two go off to their... Okay, I'll go with Chucky. I have no problem with that.
All right. So after about 10 minutes of, searching around, there are 10 very imposing earthen guards that approach both of you.
I probably direct him towards that one, the pavilion I was just at, or the shop I was just at. Because, if he's giving away this stuff at the with the chest I just got, the chance that he has it is probably pretty high.
It's up to you if you want to go to him.
I'd keep
Chucky's
that in
truck.
mind, but
Well, you can do that now if you want to.
I guess I'd go see if he has one.
He looks down at you.
One or both. I doubt both. I don't.
Make offer, little one.
Why does everyone always start out with calling me little?
Fair, he could say that to anybody here.
Yeah.
Don't really give a shit. What I even have to offer?
You see him when you ask this, and you go through the the back and forth bantering of asking where it's whatnot. Um, you see him pull out a small chest similar to what um, was given to Solon. He opens it up, and you see two kind of Dyson sphere like items, and inside of it, they're housing both items you're looking for. You're also with them right now, Dan.
Correct.
Just looking to see what I even have to even trade here. I don't have any of my star metal on me. I don't have any of the
I'll
Pale
give
Stone on
you
me.
one for axe.
Look at me one for World Carver.
You get the idea of how valuable these are.
So in the back and forth banter, at some point, I'm just I try to get a feeling if I know he's a sentient earth elemental. If he eats or drinks,
Not in the traditional sense that fleshy creatures do. He gathers innate the substances he needs by simply being in this plane itself.
could he do so for pleasure if he so chose?
He would get nothing from it.
Okay, that would work. Damn, dealing with constructs.
It's not a construct. He's just an earth elemental.
They're borderline the same. It's like telling me a Warforged is different from a golem. You're right, but really?
Not by much. Oh, the new fucking automation fucking automaton fucking ancestry is so good. Charlie, that level 17 feet that turns you into a fucking turret.
Mm-hmm. Dojo wanted to be funny, and I wanted to be an automaton cleric. It's the only chance I get to to be a Star Wars medical droid there.
I doubt those would be worth enough to do anything there. But I do have 10 crystalline tree seeds. Let's have a water lodestone. I don't think he'd care much about that, would he?
He says for the crystalline seeds, 1/10 the value of one.
He says what?
1/10 the value of one. What you have in seeds is approximately 1/10 the value of one of the stars.
Did Solon tell me the value of pale stone to him?
I made a trade for the pale stone. I told you about it. So you know it's worth. You have to remember, you don't know if it's the novelty of it that's the worth, or if it's the actual substance that's the worth. So you can try. If we were to have more pale stone, how much for? And I gesture at the. How much quantity would we require?
Well, he might have gone down since he's got some now.
That's kind of why I'm asking the way I asked.
Yeah. Someone was talking to me, otherwise I would have asked it.
For him, because he has the novelty of it and he would want more, because experimentation, crafting, doing various different things with it. To put it in perspective, the 50 bulk you gave him would equal 1% trade for it.
So
you need 1,000 bulk.
Let's take a bit.
Out of game, the pillar has 10,000 bulk easy, so.
Yeah, mining it would still take a bit. Granted, I feel like we're going to end up mining that entire pillar anyway.
Well, yeah. It's all a matter of who gets to it first. I'm joking. I'm imagining we'd be willing to share. I'm just saying I would endeavor to harvest that before too long here.
I know. Same. What's your opinion, Solon? Should I, get 1,000 to trade for one?
Okay. I look to him and I say, "Are you an enchanter of a type, of a sort?"
Yes.
I have a non-earth based unique material as well that you might be interested in. I'll just use a decanter, Derek.
Okay.
That would roughly be equivalent to a bulk of liquid mana. Because I have a shit ton of it. Pure concentrated liquid mana, I say as I hold it up to him.
500 bulk.
For 1 star?
Or 1.
I'll trade him the 1,000. You're welcome.
He hands them over to you.
Rather not disclose how much I have left.
So he hands me over one of the stars?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah. I had a resource that was just as valuable.
Jockey is just completely speechless.
Any further business?
I know exactly who I'm coming to next time I come to this place. It's a pleasure doing business with you.
You too, fleshy thing.
I leave at this point, but...
Huh? That's not the king. That's a well-connected merchant. Well established. All right. So this would probably have been about, because this is figuring out exactly, the right quantities, bickering back and forth. Gavin and Araxis, 4 hours pass, and you get the information that the one that may have what you're looking for would be the lord of this realm. What do the two of you do?
Well, I feel like I was gonna go ahead over to the Lord's place anyway to introduce myself and to also offer some advice and some assistance. I am sure maybe we can get in to see him, but we won't know until we go there.
Yep, worth a shot. So we go.
All right. As both you know, it takes roughly about traversing this metropolis. It takes you roughly about 3 hours to get to where you're going. This is a massive. You gotta remember that you're
Basically, Bossing said it.
pretty much, yeah. You get to this grand, just all inspiring craftsmanship of a citadel. The doors themselves stand several hundred feet. As you approach, 20 guards are there to greet you. Not hostile, but ready to strike you down, depending on your action.
Using my scythe kind of as a walking stick of sorts, I asked the guards that I wish to introduce myself to the Lord of the Earth Plane as I am Chiron's next chosen next in line. And I wish to give him...
Your title and rank mean nothing here.
I'm not here to give out my title and rank. I'm also here to give him advice on daemons that may or may not be trying to interfere with his realm.
Your requests will be sent. And you see him reach to his side and kind of detach this rock, and he puts it on the ground, and it rolls itself. And it starts rolling towards these massive archways. Now, the horrible thing about this is how slow it is.
Mm-hmm.
It moves 5 feet around. So every 6 seconds it moves 5 feet. And they just stand there.
I didn't find.
Do anything, Araxis?
I whisper to Araxis, of course rocks don't care about time.
Just seems like it's gonna be one of those days. I move out of the path in case somebody else shows up. I sit my butt on the ground and I make myself some kind of entertainment. I look through bags or pockets or something. Just keep myself busy until whenever.
All right. So to give you kind of like the grand scale of how big this citadel is, about 45 to 50 minutes pass until the rock actually gets to the, center part of the archway to, cross the threshold into the citadel.
Wow.
If
me and
I-
Josh are just talking back and forth, like, oh my god, I don't know where the others are. So
So
you know, I have this plan. I'm gonna make the ultimate habitat for my Leviathan, and I'm gonna tell him about the sapphires and the fact that I have 2,100 pearls that I'm gonna throw on the bottom too. And I'm thinking about taking a large amount of the bulk of liquid mana I have left and dumping it into this particular enclosure, just to supercharge it.
Ultimate Leviathan.
I'm thinking so. I mean, geez. If you're gonna go big, you might as well go big.
What are you gonna do with it then? Just have it, wrestle things for you?
Well, let's put it this way. Would you mess with a man that has the ultimate Leviathan?
he has a shiny red Gyarados.
It takes approximately the same amount of work.
You were gonna say something, Charlie.
If I took the time, I know this realm is vast, but if I took the time to concentrate just to get a sense at if any Damon activity has happened here yet, could I?
Yeah.
Since apparently I have an hour plus of time on my hands.
Oh, that's cute. You think you have an hour plus?
Well,
I mean, you got a plus, but
yeah.
Putting an hour in there, that's cute. Okay.
I keep forgetting that I want to introduce my character to being religious, so instead of just like sitting there and rifling through my things, I want to like try meditating and like putting like an energy connection with my pendant for Io.
Give me a religion check. As far as you can tell, Gavin, nice. You do feel his presence, even in this other plane. It's comforting. As far as you can tell, Gavin, there has been no intrusion. This place is heavily warded. Earth is the element of protection.
I'm going to put something into perspective for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
While the Daemons could invade the elemental planes, it would be one of the stupidest moves he could have ever made. Because in these particular planes, enemies just manifest around him. Elementals just come into being at random intervals and random locations. Just because they can. That is how chaotic this realm is. Earth would be incredibly difficult because the beings that have the most staunch defense of all time, basically you have to assault caverns and tunnels to get at them. It would be a bitch and a half. I'm not saying you couldn't do it. Eventually you could flood enough Daemons in here. I'm just saying it would not be an ideal target. Fire would be the second worst place to pick because everything hates you there. Or if it doesn't hate you, it wants you to be like it on fire.
That does nothing but remind me of Campaign 2 Crit Roll, and that's just because that I have actually completely finished that one finally. They had a run-in the fire plane, and it was fucking hilarious.
Yes, it was.
Fair enough. I've restarted or started catching up again on Crit Roll season
All
2.
right.
But
All right.
Like 30
Air?
episodes away from the end.
Air, again, you're assaulting some place that has no end and is just flying. Occasionally a flying island you'll find every so often. So again, you could invade. It would be a bitch and a half to find anything. And then there's water. Water has lots of big things that like to go squish. And while
Yeah.
daemons are indeed impressive, they do in fact go squish.
Yeah.
So, elemental planes, while you might see some minor daemon activity, isn't a place where you're going to see outright invasion yet.
Do
Not until
daemons
enemy has more
affect?
free.
Do daemons affect elementals like they infect people in the mortal plane? That if daemons kill them, they're dead.
Yeah, that still affects anything that has an essence or a soul.
Okay.
But again, it's a lot. The elemental planes out of all the planes are probably the safest because the reasons that
Yeah.
Dan just said.
Mm-hmm.
They're vast. Elementals can spawn almost endlessly. There are their own hazards. Wild demons are impressive. Fire still burns them. Earth and water still crushes them. And wind is just annoying. So, yeah, they're four of the safest planes as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
The other two are the positive plane and the negative plane. But to help this, because the hilarity of what your companions are going through, Dan and Solon, you have spent your enthusiastic nature and your planning and all the detail about your giant fucking fishbowl for your Leviathan, your planning. And then you see the people that have been, other than the elementals, but the fleshy things, they retreat and, start going to bed because, they still need sleep, and new people, basically third shifters, come out. You can surmise about 6 hours have passed.
Oh God, I sent a message to Nair. Where the fuck are you?
She has an annoyance in her voice. We haven't even made it through the archways to this damn citadel to speak to this damn lord of this plane. They sent a rock that moves 5 feet every 6 seconds to deliver the message.
When Nair starts talking is that Solid? Tell him to flip a coin for me. If it's heads, I'm leaving.
Ask him if he wants me to use the double-headed coin.
It might be helpful right now. I actually might not care if this place is overrun with demons.
And the 20 guards is just still standing there unmoving.
I'm laughing and I'm telling Chucky exactly what's going on the other end of this conversation.
I don't whisper what I said either.
They seem not to care.
I seem not to care that they don't care. Noticing what Araxis was doing in her downtime as well, I would let her know that if you're doing the born again religion thing, you could always ask my dad about it. It worked for him.
So,
You would think as Death incarnate, Gavin would get used to something like this.
yeah, Death apparently doesn't have the patience to get used to it.
Or not.
I wonder if Nair senses the irony of the situation of
She does.
Gavin wanted to do a shopping trip, and she was forced to sit outside the store and wait for something to happen. And now she's irritated at how long the shopping trip is taking.
So,
Yeah.
Another
Wonder if
four.
the irony is being tasted here.
Another 4 hours have passed. One of the guards speak up. Messenger has reached the second floor. It just goes back to being silent and unmoving.
Send,
At this point,
send a message to me when it gets an answer. I start walking away.
What do you do, Araxes? Do you stay or leave?
I've stayed this long. I might as well see it through.
No, I've already pressed pound, and as soon as it's my turn in the queue, they will call me.
As fucking Gavin and Nair wander off, annoyed, pissed off. One of the guards. Your fortitude is impressive. You may pass.
I hate this place.
I get up and go inside.
Your ass is sore, your whole body is just like...
I'm crying.
You enter and it's quite impressive. The stonework, the craftsmanship, everything is truly next level.
I look to see if there's a second floor.
There is.
Okay.
Sam is handling the interaction here. I'm going to AFK.
The elemental lord will not see anybody who lacks patience and whatnot. So they give that update, but it's a day cycle. If a person can last a day waiting, then they're permitted to see. You saw the reason why you were let in early. You showed conviction that you would wait the time when your companion left. So as you enter, you see multiple circles on the ground, magical in nature. You see a earth elemental rise up out of the ground next to you and point you to one of the circles. That will take you where you need.
I nod and say thank you, and I step on the circle.
Step on it, you're instantly teleported to the top of the citadel. It is a massive chamber, and you see this truly gigantuan rock elemental. And there's different aspects about him than what you've seen of the other earth elementals. There's actually some magma on him, and some different aspects of where the other elements combine. When the elements combine and whatnot, you get the idea each of the elemental lords do have the reason why they're elemental lords is because yes, they transcend the limitations of the lesser kind. And it is truly gigantuan. It probably stands 600 feet tall. Wide. It is massive. And its head moves, looks down at you. And then you see a humanoid figure step from its leg, about your height. It has the mimicry of yourself, but male. Stone, you see the gems and everything embedded in it. You wish to converse with me, Araxes.
I'm looking for an item that I have heard that may. If it was to be in this realm, it would be under your care. And I describe what I'm looking for.
What she's
You
looking for
can
is
choose one of the two. Trade is needed. And you see him, you see the staff like form in his hand. At first it's like a ball of stone and then it shoots down and up to create a staff. He hits it. Solon, you're transported from walking with Chucky to next to Araxes.
Hi, friend. I give
Jackie just
introductions.
looks bewildered. Why? Why does this always happen?
I have brought you here, child of Drake Oathbinder, to help in negotiations with your companion.
I'll be glad to be of assistance.
I know what each of you do. I know the goals you work for or work towards, and I know what you hope to prevent. Sorry. For that, I am willing to barter and listen to whatever it is you wish to speak to me of.
I'm like that guy at Disney World that gets the ticket that allows you to skip the line.
That usually comes with a disability.
Hey, actually, you've never been to Disney World. That no, you can literally pay to buy these tickets just to skip the line. So I'd take the disability at that point. I mean, I didn't have to wait for 10 hours in front of the building.
14 hours altogether.
Yeah, that.
You had 6 more hours before. If Charlie would have stayed, you would have had 6 more hours of waiting.
You're welcome.
But both of you would have been seeing.
So what am I trading or helping facilitate here?
She is asked for something. Either a war or famine. And he extends his hand, and you see his true self behind mimic it, and it extends its hand. And you see in its palm there are 2 just tiny gleaming magical items. One, a piece of war's armor from when he battled the sword. The gem of uncontained lust. That famine betted the Lord of Earth that he could even tempt him to indulge, and failed, and lost the gem.
Okay. Because I may not understand what my dad wants with him, but I do understand my dad. So I point out the shard of lust. That's an actual shard of his power, correct? Like a
Yes.
physical shard of his power.
Yes.
That's the one you're trading for. The armor won't cut it.
It will not cut, or how he puts it, because he wants you to know the value of both. That's why he has the piece of armor, the chip of armor, only weakness to war.
Okay, I'm gonna make a quick roll for something here.
They are both extremely useful.
Oh, they
That's
are.
why, yep.
Okay, they are. They're both extremely useful. But the reason why I told Raxus what she's negotiating for is because I know my dad, if he wants something he feasibly wants something from all of these entities, from all the horsemen. He's looking for something more core, something akin to a heart or a essence of the horsemen you're talking about. And while armor is, quintessential to war, it still is just a artifact. It isn't a core of their power. That gem is basically perfect for what you're looking for from famine.
So I would like to trade for the gem, but I don't have much myself to bargain with. I think out of game, all I've really got is a sword I no longer use, and I've got some architectural drops of that city that we were in. What was it? Where did I write that down? The sketches of Drow architecture and building schematics. When we were saving the Drow city and where we met the kid.
I say I hand you a book. I say this might be a decent down payment, and I have one other idea to help sweeten the pot. I don't know if it'll be enough, or if this will be enough, or if we're talking about trying to look for a quest from him, something that he might want accomplished. I whisper to her. But I turn to him and I say, I have two things to offer initially before I begin speaking of favors that we may be able to perform on your behalf to fill out the remainder of what is worth or may not. And I show him the book that we just got that has the domain ward. It might actually be worth a lot to someone who rules a city like this.
He looks at it. He extends his hand. And you see the book pulsate. And then you see its fundamental nature change. And it is a perfected form of that domain ritual.
So I'm guessing that means he already has
That
it.
is, no. You allowed him to perfect it.
Oh,
Half value has been succeeded.
You seem to be in the position of a city lord that seems to value mercantilism. What if we were able to move a gateway? You know the gateway of which we speak. What if we were to move that to Draconia directly? The richest kingdom on the material plane, having direct access to your markets and vice versa.
Understand. All are welcome to trade here, so long as they abide by the laws of this realm. And he makes that abundantly clear because he will trade to your enemies.
Oh yeah. It's already kind of proven, considering you had dealings with a Daemon Lord of Famine before.
If that is acceptable, trade equal. And he says that, and the reason why he says this is equal, to put it in perspective, because being connected to Draconia also means he has more connections to the other realms as well, because they're connected to Draconia, specifically the outer realms, the realms of the gods, which he does not have particular. Every once in a while he gets it, just like every once in a while he'll get a daemon in or a devil or whatnot, but not in bulk. You know, like you saw some devils and, you know, angels cruising down there, but they were a small number. You know, they were nothing of what could be achieved with the means to have open trade. So both the book and
he
trade
wants
with Draconia.
Okay, he wants a trade route with Draconia. Draconia
Yes.
serving as a waypoint on this trade route.
Yes.
Solon says that would be acceptable with one stipulation. One stipulation is an army will not be allowed to form and march through Draconia to this through this archway, as long as Draconia controls the archway. And the same thing holds true for your end. Meaning a deal can't be struck from either end to allow an army to march through.
This is acceptable.
Then we have an accord. And I do have the authority to make this deal because I was given ambassador. I was named Ambassador Given. The intent was for me to head to Valeria to be ambassador there.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. I was still given said title.
So he extends his hand out to you, Araxis, and you see the gem float from the massive hand down to where it's hovering in front of you. Take it. And because of the protective nature of this realm, the corrupting nature of the gem does not affect you.
But give it to Drake before you leave the realm.
Yes.
I thank him, and I guess it's safe to palm it and put it in my pocket or my bag of holding, as long as I give it to Drake before we leave this place.
Do not place it in a place you do not want known.
Basically, you can examine it. It's connected with famine, so if you put it
as
somewhere...
of right now, yeah, Xandra could right now because he holds the title Horseman of Famine. When the Mother of Monsters ascends to the Horseman of Famine as well, she can peer through it.
Just for clarification, Derek, the reason I rolled a crafting check and I got a 38 on it was I'm identifying exactly where that shard would be in a suit of armor if I were to, construct a suit of armor around it.
Okay, does that roll stand?
And a 38, yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 19. There's no way I'm rolling one better than that.
You're fairly confident. You may be wrong, but you're fairly confident. It is under the left breast plating. Right next to where the ribs connect. That's where it is.
I'm pretty sure this was the whole reason to show us the shard. Okay.
You know that this is your first time really interacting with a primal lord, as well as the actual plane of Earth, the main city. Like the Fire Realm has the city of Brass, and each one has their capital, if you will. This is the Earthrin one. This is your first time dealing with it, and they are very straightforward, and they do have subtle meanings to everything they do. So you can surmise that is definitely it.
Okay. So
he looks to you, Araxis. He extends his hand in his smaller form and it caresses your cheek. Your Earthworm protection reaction, or your thing you can do that lasts for a minute that gives everybody 10 resistance to physical damage, now becomes 20, and it's to all damage.
Yeah.
When somebody attacks somebody under the effects of that, well, I'm saying it out loud real quick so everybody knows. When somebody is attacked and is dealt damage to by a creature while that is active with them, they take 20 points of unmitigated damage.
damn. Earth Elemental Lord likes you.
He's an Earth Elemental. All right. That's some angry, painful sex.
Please tell me I was allowed to leave first.
No, you gotta watch it all.
Part of the deal.
Yep. Should have read the fine print. He hits his staff to the ground, and all of you are teleported back to where you came into. You're still within the realm, but you all have reconvened together and back at the starting point.
Okay.
You get the idea, much like Asmodeus, those who enter his realm, he knows of.
Okay. So Drake pulls out a piece of parchment and is going sketching crazy on it real quick. I'll go ahead and make my crafting roll to actually draw,
Okay.
but the plus 19, I'm pretty sure I'm the
You
best.
should be. Yeah. All right.
I rolled shit, and I still rolled I still made like a professional painting's worth.
Oh yeah,
of sketch.
it is.
Um,
I'm guessing you're drawing where it would be at that piece of armor. Okay.
And I show everybody. I say, everybody gather around. I say, this is a suit of armor, no adornments. So it may look a little bit differently than this, but this is War's basic armor. After dealing with the Earth King, I say with a slight smile on my face because I find joy in this particular moment. He said that there is a shard missing from War's armor, And this is where the shard is. So I show him War's weak point. At least weak point in his armor.
So, to put that in game mechanics terms, if you all actually fight war, because it could go many different ways. You know, Drake and them could fight war. Somebody could try to solo them. You all, just depending on what all player choices and whatnot. For game terms, you can change it, or basically you make a hard attack roll, meaning it's a -5 to your attack roll to hit that target because you're specifically targeting that area. If you do succeed on an attack with that, your attack, he automatically has weakness 20 to your attack and does not get to apply any of his immunities or resistances to that attack, excluding things like death effects and whatnot, because him as a daemon is automatically immune to that.
Why do you gotta say stuff like that? Like I'm gonna crit him in that weak spot.
I believe you have something else you need to do. I say to Araxis before we cross this portal.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you cross that portal with that in your possession, you might as well roll another character.
Also, how long did it take this interaction and negotiations?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And how long was I still sitting there after Gavin had walked away?
About an hour.
And it was a 3-hour walk there.
Yep.
Okay, okay. No longer being a Dragon Lord, I can't, send mental messages to Drake anymore.
You can do so through the deal.
Yeah.
The tattoo that you have when you made a deal with him.
Yep.
You can
Because
contact.
as of right now, you do have a tattoo with the deal. That's Drake's thing. You have a deal with them.
Anyone
Basically
with the Dragon Bloodline contact anyone else with the Dragon Bloodline now? I thought that was the
No,
case.
it works like telephone. They can contact their direct sire. They can't contact the collective. It's only the Dragon Lords that can contact anybody that has a bloodline.
Like she could contact her father as
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That would change so much.
Yeah, you can contact your dad at any point in time. It's just, and Solon can, and any of the Dragon Lords can technically contact any one of us from Draconia.
All right. So you contact Drake.
Yes.
Drake, I assume you appear.
Yeah,
You've been here before. Drake, I assume, would have been here before.
it's a
He
place
is a
of deals
grand-
and mercantilism.
He's probably proud of his son in this moment, though, because he has done something that has not been achieved yet. Drake might have been able to achieve it. He's fairly confident he would have been able to, but this is a major thing for Solon, brokering this deal of trade.
Yeah, it's a major deal that Solon added to the bloodline.
Yep.
Because he has
And
these
strengthened, and strengthened Draconia as a whole. So, it did, it was definitely a big thing, So, yeah, go ahead, do your RP.
You rang.
Before I get to that, the Elemental Lord said that I have to be careful with it because famine can see through it.
Yes.
So I can counteract that by having it covered by a piece of cloth. Right? No, I didn't mean for that to be a stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid question. It just reminded me of old stories of newer players and whatnot, and just a bunch of memories came into my head of people that have done many, many things that but no, not with this. Drake would tell you this.
Yeah, He can still sense it, but it would muffle it. Basically, the idea is the shard or whatever object you have of his would function like that was him inside the room. So a cloth over the top of it prevents you from coming in direct contact with it, which is what I would encourage. But the other thing that it does is it would only muffle it as much as that cloth would muffle the sound. The thicker the cloth, the more sound would be muffled.
It gives him a nice Halloween costume. He's a ghost.
Woo! All right, go ahead, and then we're gonna take a quick break after y'all do this.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the artifact that you asked me to find, and I hand it over.
I take it, examine it. This will work perfectly. And Drake seems, as soon as he takes it into his hand, you see these green vines and chaotic swirls just erupt from his palm and begin circling and grasping at the, and now actually, Mystic Thurge, and binding, lines of white light surge up from his palm and just basically surround and almost consume it until the radiance within the shard basically dims down, and you can tell he sealed that power away. It's his shard now. There's no way it's going to be wrestled away from him. At least not without direct intervention from the enemy.
I also tell him that the Elemental Lord said that once it leaves this realm, how did you word it?
Basically,
The protection.
Yeah, it's
What
Drake
Drake just
just-
did was
yeah.
basically just put the protection onto he sealed the power of the shard away. So even when he leaves the realm, he's covered.
all right. So
Basically,
deal
he's-
fulfilled.
The wish aspect of his deals to seal it away, Derek, is the
All right. So that is accomplished. And let's take a 10-minute break. I got to use the restroom and stretch. And we'll meet back up here, let's say 8:40 my time. So 12 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Be right back, guys.
Anybody else back yet or not? I'll take that as a no.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Who we missing? Sam will be here in a minute.
I haven't heard anyone else pop back in yet.
Those bastards.
I'm here.
Well, I take back what I say.
I'm just kind of just watching a YouTube video for giggles, so I wait.
Giggle, giggle. I'm just waiting for
I'm glad I don't have a foreign car. In the 80s.
there. I was gonna say I like my Nissan Rogue. It's a good car.
I'm just looking at all the vacuum lines that's on this stupid car this guy's working on.
There.
No. No, I'll stick with the 68 Chevy. I think it's so super, super simple.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
No.
Dan,
Yes.
what would you want for one of your crystal tree acorns?
You have one.
Okay, thank you.
Aww. Yeah, it's nice. Alright. So, what's your all's next course of business?
Well, I do have one question.
I have
For
exactly
the-
one answer.
For the Earthing Star and the Dying Star cores protected, because don't they have like shit ton of gravity?
Yes, that's why they're in the Dyson Sphere-like object.
I'm guessing
You got the
oh,
chest.
Huh?
You got the chest.
Yeah. I was just making sure that if we brought them out of this realm, that we wouldn't be crushed in their immense gravity.
Oh. You know, you should be fine.
Yeah,
Granted, I
you're,
could
you're
just
fine.
use my sword. I don't know what that takes to do that. Just touch them to it.
Hey Dan, those crystal trees, what properties did they have? I forgot on those.
I have to look to see if I wrote anything down.
I think during that part I was too busy laughing at everyone dying.
I just know that there were incredibly concentrated life or positive energy. I didn't have any special characteristics written down from them because that wasn't what I wanted them for.
The crystalline wood?
Yep.
Didn't that make it so that it would speed up crafting time and stuff like that?
Entirely possible. That wasn't what I wanted it for.
I will find it in my notes. Not at this exact moment because I'm dog fucking tired. But I will get them for you, buddy.
So, Derek, I also do pour 2,000 bulk of my remaining liquid mana into that pool that houses my Leviathan egg.
Okay. That sounds good.
My
During
Leviathan
that
is going to be awesome.
during that conversation, Chucky would be like, "What do I do with my egg? I'm just not sure." Only thing I could think of would be giant fish tank aboard the vault, or
Eat it.
It depends on what you're trying, because it seems to me, and Derek, you can make me roll for this if you want to, but it's just based on the Leviathans that I've encountered. They seem extremely adaptable to the environments they find themselves in. For instance, there's a Leviathan that adapted to being able to live in the river Styx, becoming a death hybrid, almost.
Mm-hmm.
so you're,
I'm pretty sure the same thing is going to happen to Gavin's Leviathan in his realm.
Yep.
Only he's going to try to tame his. You
Yep.
could try the same thing, but feeding it off of star energy that your vault just naturally produces. Maybe have the butler or the controller, I forget what they called it in your vault, direct excess star energy towards the egg. You might evolve into a star Leviathan.
what they called it was AI, or artificial intelligence. I just call them A. Just easier that way.
You could have A reroute excess energy into the Leviathan, and you could eventually evolve yours into a hybrid just like Charlie is.
That would be an interesting idea. The other idea I had was to use it as a protector for the temple I'm going to be building. So
Sam's is going to be reflected of its more natural inclination being where it's kept. Mine, I'm imparting so much magic into its environment, just based on where it is, and on top of that, adding more. That mine will be an arcane Leviathan.
I do like the idea of an astral Leviathan, though. I'll have to think on this. Won't be able to really do much with the vault until it's completed, really. I mean, there's some things I can do with it, but
Well, the egg is changing the most right now, so I'd suggest rerouting energy towards it now as opposed to after it's hatched.
Yep.
Won't be nearly as effective then.
now, Derek, it just has to be in water. It doesn't have to be in like moving water or anything like that.
Correct.
Just in water.
Hey, Zedek, I do got a couple questions.
A couple answers.
Having a positive energy source in my realm wouldn't be detrimental to me, would it?
No.
As I assume dealing with life and death, that would be all right. So, Dan, I might actually ask for an acorn if you have one to spare. My next question was, does the River Styx still pass? I know my domain is supposed to be the new endpoint eventually, but as far as my domain goes, how does the river still go through it? Does the river actually beginning to stop here? Like, what's happening on that?
When it finishes, it will end in your domain.
So think of it as the headwaters, a giant lake usually.
That's a good way to look at it. So, What do y'all wish to do? Because my ass is tired. I will be calling it at 10 tonight.
Yeah.
But we can explore some more of the squares if we want to get more of those out of the way.
So your total exploration is up to 9 days after your time in the elemental plane of Earth because of, everything that transpired
14 hours of waiting.
there.
So it was 9 days that passed in the Earth.
Yes, no, not 9 days. And total exploring of all the hexes.
It just was a single day in the Earth elemental plane.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure I had that right.
I asked Drake to move the bridge for us. And
Okay.
if he asks for a price, I'll say, Solon responds, we both know you're going to put it in your domain, so, eh.
All right.
Drake didn't say anything, and he just shrugs and snaps his fingers.
Fair. All right. So beyond that,
Call if you have any more deals to make.
what do you all wish to do?
Okay. Unless somebody else has something, the next square is K18, and it is Lizard Folk Ruins.
All right. So, as you explore this, and it is very, very old. Not as old as the Elven and Dwarven rooms you've seen, but not. It doesn't lag too far behind. And the language and everything on there is more done with, like the equivalent of like cave paintings and a form of art to really convey their history. You take roughly an hour to look through everything. It looks like most everything was, taken, like it's been scavenged, picked clean. As you, find this small kind of burrow or warren that leads deep underground, it goes into an earthly chamber, and in the center of it is a raised dais. And then on it is a very large egg.
Did I hear egg?
This isn't like an egg you've ever seen before.
That's saying something. Me and Charlie practically grew up around them.
Mm-hmm.
Can I approach and make a nature check to try to identify it?
Yeah, that will work.
I'm going to go ahead and token that one.
Do I get anything by just looking at it?
34.
There is a unbirthed soul within it. It lies dormant. One thing you notice with your sight that there is no growth and there is no decay to it. It seems to be in a form of stasis in its current state. 34 nature, all right. You vaguely recall some teachings in Draconia of the ancient races, lizard folk being one of them. And there is a subspecies of lizard folk called the Korgrath. They are huge, not like they're large creatures. They are incredibly strong.
Um, and as you actually look around the room, you can actually see, cave paintings of this massive lizard, long, spiky tail, very muscular. And it is actually wrestling a dragon to the ground. Very large head, a very long snout, very sharp teeth. Almost kind of like a mix between a gator or an alligator or a crocodile, sorry, and a kimono dragon. And the shape and the snout going out. It has protruding spines from the base of its neck down to its tail. It has large horns coming out of its elbows.
In all honesty, I'm picturing the brute from Warhammer 2.
Kind of. A little bigger, a lot nastier, and combat prowess.
Got it. Sentient or monstrous?
Sentient. History or what is known of it, the Korgoth went extinct. No one knows why. Or at least that's what the, history books tell of what they know.
Try to look for any clue on from the cave paintings that surround us.
Okay, give me a perception check. Yes, you can.
Whoa.
Thanks, Sam. Said she was going to assist. Okay. 30.
Would it's...
Go
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, would its documented intelligence, be that of, the animal lords and stuff like that, or...
While it is a sentient creature, what knowledge, they're not necessarily the scholarly type. They can converse with you, they can, speak their mind, but they're not a species known for its intellect.
Okay.
They're tribal.
As you, one thing you do note with that 34, while Korgoths are the penultimate of the lizard folk combatants, they're not leaders. What little bit of documentation that they are a force of vengeance and protection for their tribe. And no documentation or any evidence has it ever been shown that any ever strived to be a war chief or a clan leader, an elder, or anything like that. They were their weapon and they were their protectors. As you look around, you do see various, they're crude, but you make out that, do you share that this thing is in stasis, Charlie? Did you share that?
Yeah.
It would take the raw essence of the 6 fundamental building blocks of the mortal realm: fire, earth, water, air, positive and negative.
Okay, well, doable. What else did I find with looking at the cave paintings?
With 34, it's just again more of a illustrated history of their people, and as you look more, the whole of this cavern is covered in art. Um, from deities they worship to showing leadership and rites of passages and so forth and so on. But beyond that, right there, the only prominent thing that remains in here is this dais or pedestal with the egg on top.
No indication on why they went extinct, or
Within this cavern, no. Or this warren, I should say.
So there's drawings of people.
Yes.
Do they look human?
Lizard folk.
Huh?
Humanoid. Lizard folk. Alright, what do y'all wish to do?
I'd like to see if there's any more warrens.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Could someone roll for me? I just need to pull something out of the oven real quick. Could someone roll and then just roll at 10?
Yep. She is not assisting. Let me get to your character sheet. Do. 24 was rolled.
That's good.
All right. It takes about an hour to search the ruins thoroughly. You do find 3 other warrens. And one is discarded utility items that have kind of just decayed and become useless over the ages. Basically a storage area. The others is one of them is a place of worship and meditation. One thing that you do notice is that this place this chamber, it's within a warren, but it's actually stone and whatnot inside. It was actually a proper chamber was built in here. As you look around, you automatically sense the centering of yourself, like perfect alignment with your mind, your body, and your soul. It allows you to think on a level of clarity that is near impossible to achieve alone. The other is a sprawling kind of underground complex. It's where some of the lizard folk lived, common areas, storage areas, sleeping. But you do notice within it it was definitely attacked. There is destruction on a grand scale within this. One thing you do notice, while there's plethora of skeletons of lizard folk that still persist, you do find the remnants of armor and weapons not kin to them, and you've seen them before on the servants of war. So some of the daemons were destroyed, their essence sent back to Abaddon, and gear remain. but their force is overwhelmed. Do you do anything?
What could we roll to kind of get an idea of how long ago this took place?
Society, or history lore, if you have lore that would pertain to ancient civilizations, history, and the like. See, that's the biggest skill right there that I have trouble remembering is society, because it encompasses a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
It
roll.
is a very, very long time ago. Chucky, as you're walking and you're trying to examine it, you walk into a cobweb and a spider is literally on your eyeball. And as you blink, it gets, the spider kind of like jabs you in the eye with the leg before skidding off.
That's dramatic.
Yes. It happened so quick, you didn't even have like the natural inclination to blink until after the spider was literally on your eyeball and you blunk on it. I don't care if blunk's an actual word or not. It's just fun to say.
Pretty sure it's not, but okay.
It's still fun to say. Ever since I saw our Futurama when Leela had the surgery to get 2 eyes, and she said, "I blunk."
Exactly, I was thinking I could roll my token on that, so
Go for it.
better, but still not that great.
Solon, your best guess, you don't get a definitive, but you can tell this was pre-sundering.
Got it.
How long before that, you have no idea, but it was definitely pre-sundering.
So he wants the responsibility of trying to bring back a race. Because war wanted him eliminated for some reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't your Atlas thing tell you?
Yeah, try that.
Okay. Concentrate for 10 minutes. And what you learn is war descended on him, not himself, because, Bard, but found a means to bring in a few of the members of the Lords of Slaughter without breaking the deal with Allura Oathbinder. They came in here, and then what you see through the history, because the Korath were fighting them tooth and nail. They seemed to be the primary target until all of them were eliminated. You do see a couple of the shamans, or what you assume to be shaman druidic, you're not quite sure, scamper off with a egg. You see when the daemons, clear the warriors and whatnot, they breach into a hidden chamber that you didn't roll high enough to notice. Inside of it, their leader held a tablet. The writings on it are akin to Abaddon, but also slightly different. And as you look at it, you realize you have that tablet. It was given to you by Kui.
Ooh.
And ever since he found that, he's definitely been different. He looks like he's seen some shit and he doesn't recommend it.
Okay. I keep watching.
Now, the important thing is you in this hidden chamber, there are paintings of constellations, astrology, the various phenomenons of the universe at whole, the material plane. And you can tell that these ancient lizard folk were definitely big into astrology. In this room, it meant something. It meant something enough for war to destroy it. In the last moments before the death blow was um, delivered to it, it managed to release a spell. All the pictures and everything disappear and are imprinted onto that tablet. And then the tablet vanishes. And then the killing blow is given.
I say, let's go check out this room.
The two that scared off with an egg, the last Korgrath egg, return and ultimately meet their end. The daemons, feeling that they have achieved eradication, flee. Or not flee, but leave. All right.
Okay. First things first. I send this particular memory to my dad.
Okay.
There's a side thing I'll do with him later on with this.
Okay.
Not of the chamber or anything necessarily, but the Slaughter's invasion.
Okay.
And then I say we go and look at the room, because now we know where the room would be. Just retrace the daemon steps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You find the secret passage and you enter. It is a long or a circular chamber, roughly 60-foot radius, domed shape. There is a hole in the center in the ceiling where the night sky or the day sky, shines right down. The floor itself has an array of various patterns. A lot of them are cracked and damaged from the conflict that happened. As the light shines down, you can see it. When it hits a complete pattern, it radiates. It pulsates with energy. Chucky, you know this energy. This is just raw creation. It's incomplete because of the damaging of, the designs. As you explore further, you find levers. And after tinkering with them and whatnot, I'm not going to make you roll for this. You see the floor flip, or y'all are startled for a moment as the floor flips you upside down, and you're on the bottom side of this chamber, which is also a dome, and you realize it makes a perfect sphere. The bottom of it also has a hole that is pitch black at the moment. And again, you see constellations, you see various celestial bodies, some familiar, some not.
In the pitch black hole, see nothing with true sight, see nothing with spirit sight or life sense.
Correct.
So the second half of the sphere wasn't damaged in any way. At least so it looks.
Does not seem to be damaged now. But with your all's attributes and skills and whatnot, you know both sides need to function together for whatever this is. You also notice, sorry, I was just checking some things. You also notice that there is overlapping of the different realms and how they actually all connect. Both the inner plane, which is your elemental plane, your elemental planes, your material plane, your mirrored planes, the first world, the Shadowfell, the positive and negative realms, and then you got your transit planes, the ethereal plane and the astral plane, and then you got the outer planes, which are all the planes of the gods that represent the fundamental laws of alignment: good,
Mhm.
evil, neutral, so forth, so on. And how they all overlap one another, how they exist, and you start to see various like pathways. You start seeing, the longer you look in here, the more clear everything becomes, and it's weird. It's one of the reasons why I'm not having you roll. It's like just like when you were in that meditative chamber, Solon. Being in here, your mind is operating on a level that is not normally possible. It's operating at perfect clarity. All the synapses in your brain are firing in unison and able to access all parts of your brain at once instead of just portions.
Long story short, we want to restore this place, and I kind of do. It'll take some work up top to fix those ruins and the like. Easily doable.
Well, I'm open to repairing this.
There is a sense of comfort here to you, Carell. It's weird because your people are vastly different than the lizard folk.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a level of connection between your people and these that have perished.
Looks like Chucky is getting the nomination to revitalize the lizard folk race.
Yep.
I'm curious. Simon, what are you seeing right now?
Simon materializes and looks around. And again, he tells you what he saw the first time when you entered the vault: language of creation.
And that's
But not complete. Like where your vault, when it activated, it had power. It still had functionality, though it wasn't whole.
is that with the other vision,
Yes.
with the being able to see both past, present, and future?
He has to actively try to control that. You can go ahead and give me a D20 plus 15.
Keyboard's down under my feet at the moment. $30.
Nice. This place in particular is very weird to him because he has looked in both the past, present, and future simultaneously before. He's been practicing at it. This is a nexus. It's not like a nexus between the crossing of ley lines or the center of virgin points of ley lines. It is a nexus to something greater. You're not quite sure, but because it's damaged here and now, he cannot see what it was or what it will be. And that is because of the nexus that it is.
I guess there's no option. We have to fix it. And I would ask if he could lend me his site so I could see the language of creation, so I could read it. Because I can read it now. Just see if I can come up with what's missing.
He does, and as you look, a bunch is missing. A lot of the inherent characters. There's bits and pieces missing from everything.
This is gonna take time.
Any reaction when I take the tablet out of my bag?
When you take the tablet out of the bag, there is this humming sound coming from both the tablet and the chamber. But it doesn't fully establish.
So what's your brother working on right now?
He's currently working on my vault, along with the Bargoth dwarf. Stone dwarf. They have, I believe it's 13 days left on it. Yep, 13 days.
So we either
And
do
just to help you here real quick, repairing this is beyond even Drake's ability to grant it as a favor. Not saying you all cannot repair it. It is very repairable in your current state and resources you have at hand. But whatever this place is, whatever it does, Drake cannot influence this. Either can Solon. Like, you couldn't trade away something to have Drake or Solon instantly repair this. And that might actually be perplexing to Solon.
a little bit.
Alright, what do y'all do?
Are we gonna work on this now, or try? Because this probably take a while.
Sorry, I was muted. That's kind of a group question. We don't have much realistically left with the exploration. Finish that and come back, or
Let's finish that and come back. I still don't have any really like good idea paths.
Which tile is this, so I can mark it down just so I have it?
K18.
This is actually a very important tile. Funny enough, things went sideways. Like I said, I have no expectations of actually exploring the next two islands. I don't have it in me. Things have happened. You'll get loot and whatnot when the time comes. But on one of the islands, if we ever actually got off this, and it was largely my fault with how I constructed this, you would have found clues that would have led you here.
Got it.
Yep. So I apologize, robbing that from you all.
Well, I do say we should probably come back and move on. Maybe even gather some resources to help reconstruct this a little bit. I mean, I know we got that pale stone we should get mined up so no one else can, take it. And there's probably a couple other things.
I use
wouldn't
Night
mind.
here to send a message to get that harvested.
Okay.
Because there's more than enough idle people back at
Yes.
the main to actually just get it done.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind spending a little bit of time in the other chamber and just meditating for a bit. Refocus.
Okay, so 5 minutes later.
Oh, no,
Well,
it's
you're
more
operating at a super level right now. So F-16, there is a treasure there.
All right, give me 1 second with that real quick. Chucky or Josh, we can handle this a side session or whatnot. But when you go in there and you spend that first minute of meditating, you are in a complete kind of ascended mindset, and your ancestors appear before you. The sword appears before you. Very much like Aang when he meditated at the fire temple and he saw all the avatars and things like that. That's kind of what's going on for you. You can converse with them all freely. So
Listen.
I'm letting you know that now. That way you can come up with what you want to do with that when we come back to this.
Yeah, it's funny. If Solon had meditated here, nothing would have happened. His entire bloodline's still living.
So, and the sword is on the verge of death. That's why she can appear here. There is no saving the former sword. You realize that in this moment. Her time, its time, has come to an end. Or is coming to an end, as all things do.
Yeah.
The Court of Stars isn't actively trying to stop something coming from its end, but it's trying to stop oblivion that perverts natural order. So, all right. F-16, you said?
Yep.
All right.
That one has a treasure on it. It says create of 800 GP, 1100 alchemy reagents, and an Aeon stone gold module.
All right. All that is found in there. So again, that's 1,100 gold worth of alchemical reagents and whatnot that can be used for potion or elixir crafting. Again, this was back when, early in this, before everything got sidetracked. So 1,100 gold worth of resources, gold pieces, and the Aeon Stone module.
So 1,100 gold of potions ingredients.
And elixirs.
Well, I have, in the crafting materials, I do have a section in the loot that says elixirs or potion ingredients.
Gotcha. Nice.
So I also have enchanting ingredients, but. And what was the other things? If I can get them in the loot.
An Aeon stone gold module. I don't know what that is.
Don't know. Some form of Aeon stone, but. I'm curious what that is.
Yeah, if you get a chance to look it up, let me know.
Is it nodule or module?
Module.
Because when I type it into Google, it comes up with nodule. N-O-D-U-L.
What does that say? Because this just says and stone.
I might have fat fingered, misspelled it.
Depending on what version it is it normal, flawed, cracked?
Gold.
Because normal gives you a +1 bonus to saves against language-dependent effects, and it makes it so you can read, comprehend, speak, read, and write a single language chosen by the Ion Stone's creator. And let's see, the flawed one makes it so you can do the language thing, and then you get a +1 bonus to saves against language. I don't see what's the. So the normal one is better slightly. This is confusing. Why? Oh, so the. Oh, so the flawed one makes it so you can read, comprehend and read it, but you can't speak or write it. For the normal one, you can read, write, and comprehend, and speak it, and everything.
Right back. It's a normal one. All right. Where to next?
Next up is I-15. And an I-15 is a hill giant lair.
All right. That hill giant actually died quite a bit ago. So within his layers, you have a formula for the max level heal potion and elixir of life. There is 8,000 GP worth of reagents for potions and elixirs. There is also 3,200 gold pieces. And a rotting corpse of a half-eaten wyvern.
While Josh is writing that down, I'll be back.
So there was formulas for 2 potions.
Yep. The max level for the healing and the elixir of life.
You don't actually have a thing for formula. I guess I get to add that.
For shamed!
We haven't really gotten a whole lot of formula. I suppose I could put it under books and scrolls. So it's the max level healing, which I don't know which healing potion that is.
I think I'm going to need to wrap it up here soon, guys. I'm starting to feel sick again. When Dan gets back, we'll wrap up any last minute things y'all want to do, and then I need to lay down.
Okay, man.
Oh, it's max level healing potion, and the other one was
Elixir of life.
okay. That was also one of the higher end elixirs of life.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also, word death, I did that wrong, by the way. So it just suppresses the doom condition. It doesn't stop you from acquiring it. You can still acquire the doom condition. It's just suppressed until the spell wears off.
Saying Death Ward.
Yeah.
I'm back. What a mess.
We're gonna wrap up the last few minute things. I'm not feeling good, man. I gotta lay down. So is there any last minute things you all want to do?
Could take care of the Drake thing real quick.
Sure.
So Drake goes into once he gets contacted by Solon, Drake goes into a meditative stance and contacts War through his deal.
Okay.
Once War responds, defend yourself or be in violation. And I just replay the image of him invading the lizard folk, or Lords of Slaughter invading the lizard folk village. Basically, Drake is giving him a chance to prove that this is not in violation of the deal. Otherwise, technically, that is, in fact, Lords of Slaughter setting foot on the mortal realm, which would put him in violation.
I don't have my notes directly in front of me, but basically how it went down through clever tactics and he baited a court of stars to basically step foot on Abaddon.
Got it.
They were tricked and fooled, which isn't against violations. They were not,
right?
So yeah, and that's what allowed him to. Once he learned of the existence of these lizard folk, he did what the war does, played out a tactic, went in his favor, and accomplished what he set out to do. Now, to his knowledge, he succeeded, and Drake knows this.
Which is why only the invasion is played. I understand. Drake will cut connection there unless War says something.
There would be some banter, but like I said, I'm not really feeling good, man. But yeah. Alright, anything else, guys? No. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Awesome job finding this ancient. Now, one thing that I will point out, these lizard folk that were eradicated here, while lizard folk, they are, basically the first lizard folk type, first few generation of lizard folk, where the lizard folk that you encountered on here are many generations separated.
Okay. I do have a question, actually.
Okay.
So, using the orb, I saw the warriors. Your standard lizard folk are the workers.
Yep.
What did their rulers look like?
Almost priestly. Not in the same definition like a cleric or a champion, but definitely elder, shamanistic, druidic.
Looking closer to a dragonborn almost.
Yeah. And again, emphasis on astrology and the connecting of all the webs of the just universe and all its realms. So whatever they discovered was enough to force War to act.
So that should tell you the importance of this place.
Understood. Okay, this is just a side note for you, Derek, then. When we stop for rest or whatever,
Mhm.
because technically I meditate,
Mhm.
I am going to, or meditate for half the time. For the extra time that I have, I'm going to be watching the orb, and I'm going to attempt to identify, because I won't be able to see what they saw, but I should be able to identify the position of levers and what they had set up when they saw what they saw that made War nervous.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking for.
All right. I
Just
will
so that
need
when it's
a.
actually fixed, I can just set appropriately.
All right. Yeah, no, that's fine right there. You see the levers and you know the everything that they did. You make note of that. You have that in place, so when this is restored, you can replicate what they did, or something more. So yeah, good session. I'm glad you all discovered that place right there. Again, Corel, it should be noted that this is a place of importance to everybody, but there is a connection that you feel pulling there. So, you all have a good night. I'm going to get some rest, guys.
Night.
And
No.
I will. Yep. If y'all need me tomorrow, just hit me up.
Will do, man.
All right,
All right.
later, guys. Bye.
Later.
Later.